let's get started with week 21. Remember, I'm going to give you too many signs for some of the events on the timeline. Don't feel overwhelmed. Just pick the ones that help you to remember the event and use those ones. I want you to feel encouraged and I want you to feel like I'm helping you remember them, not overwhelming you with feeling like you have to cram a bunch of signs in before you move on to the next event, especially when we get into those quicker part of the timeline song. Before we get started, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of the timeline songs and so you don't miss the whole song when it comes out with all the hand motions or any of the sit downs that we do with homeschool moms from around the country that share their stories and maybe help you to connect with somebody that's going through something similar or has a similar experience of what you're trying to struggle through right now. They may have the answer for you. You can find that right here at WanderStruck.Family. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram for daily encouragement and inspiration. Okay, first up this week, we have World War II and President Franklin D. Roosevelt. So same sign that we did last week for World War I, we're going to sign World War II. So W, here we go, WW2. President, we use our C's, bring them up by our head and pull out. We can put your hands here, here, here. They can go in front. It doesn't matter. It's not exact on this one, so you just pull out. So President Franklin D. Roosevelt. And so we're going to pick out the first letter of his name, starting with the F, Franklin, D, Roosevelt, right? FDR, which, it's what we call him, so perfect. All right, so we have World War II and President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Stalin of the USSR and the Katyn massacre. So for Stalin, again, we're going to sign an S, just that first letter of his name. So Stalin of the USSR, which is modern day Russia. So we're going to sign Russia, where we put our hands on our hips like so, and they just kind of bounce off. So Stalin of the USSR and the Katyn massacre. So you're going to put your hand straight up like this, and with your finger, you're going to go. All right? Stalin of the USSR and the Katyn massacre. The United Nations form. So we're going to say United Nations by, again, signing that first letter. So we're going to start with a U for United. Just put your fingers down for nations. So United Nations formed. So we have a couple options here. You can say formed like came together, united, came together. You can say formed like they set up, right? And then you could say formed like this, which means built. This is typically used more for like structures. This is like to set up, and this is to come together. So you have a couple different options. The Cold War. So the Cold War was a time period where the United States and Russia were having this nuclear competition, if you will, so there was this very like cold atmosphere between the two countries. So we're going to stick with that, and we're going to say cold as in cold, even though it was not physically cold at that time. It was a very cold atmosphere between the two. It was a cold relationship. So we're going to say cold, and then we're going to say war, where we take this side and we take this side and go psh, 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 where they go back and forth, okay? The Cold War. Gandhi and India's independence. So for Gandhi, we're going to sign a G. We're going to take those pinch your fingers and hold them out. That's G. Gandhi. So Gandhi and India's independence. So for India, you're going to put your thumb up. You're going to put it on your forehead right here and twist it. All right, so I've had some feedback from wonderful moms who have told me what this means, and actually it means different things in different regions, or it's called something different in different regions. So originally I thought it was a bindi, but there's a couple other names for it depending on the region of India that you're from. So if you contributed that information, I truly appreciate it. So thank you so much. This is one of the great things about CC, when you get a bunch of brilliant minds together and we share information with one another. So Gandhi and India's independence. So for independence, we're going to do freedom, right? We're going to take bonds of slavery are broken and it's freedom, but we're going to put I. cross it, and break free. So last week we did Australia, and we did freedom for Australia, and now it's freedom for India. Jewish state established. So to sign Jewish, we're going to pull a long beard here. We're going to pull down. This is the sign for Jew or Jewish. State, to sign state, we're going to put one hand flat. The other hand is going to make an S, so the thumb crosses over the fist, and we're going to go fingers to palm, fingers to palm. So Jewish state established, and this would be to set up. It was established. But remember, we just talked about how you could say it formed, it came together, or built because the structures were built, but this would be to set up and to put together. So the Jewish state established. Mao and communist victory in China. So we're going to start with an M for Mao, so 3 fingers over your thumb, Mao. For communist, we've signed this a couple different times, and you can do it 2 different ways. You can sign a fist up in the air, so just pumping that fist in the air, or you can sign a crescent with a sheath going through it. So Mao and communist. Victory, it's like you have your trophy, or you're holding a trophy and the other hand takes the trophy. So woohoo, I'm a winner, right? So victory, taking that trophy. And for China, we're going to sign shoulder, shoulder, and hip, like you would see on a traditional Chinese shirt where it has button, button, button. So we're going to say China. All right, so Mao and communist, victory in China. I will see you next week.